Dory 1, this is Fireteam Delta. Dad's coming home.
Welcome to the Military Veteran Dad Podcast, where it is our mission to bring every dad home. I am your host, Ben Killoy. I'm a United States Marine veteran, husband, and a father. We will bring authentic conversations to inspire action in your life so we can close the gap between the dad you are today and the dad you want to be tomorrow. This is the Military Veteran Dad Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of Fatherhood Friday. Have I said how much gratitude I have for you guys checking into these Fatherhood Fridays? These have been something that have fueled my Fridays, my week. It is my highlight to record these messages every week because I know they are getting impact. I know they are having a strong resonance frequency out there because each week that I put out another episode, I feel my message and my voice getting stronger and stronger. And this week's episode is like every other episode, but it's not. Here's what I mean. So something that I have been battling is something that I want to share with you. So I often share something after I've overcome it or a story about my life. But right now, I'm going to pull back the curtain on what I struggle with. And this is something that has been struggling in my life for the last 6 months, well before Corona. But it started January 28th. Now, if you've been following the podcast, you know that January 27th was the day that this year changed for me well before Corona, and everything else changed when I went into work that day, and by 9 a.m., my position at work had been eliminated. And for me, that day represents what I've kind of coined my alive day, because that day is when I really started to feel alive. And I've had all of these different triumphs. I've stepped into my stay-at-home dad self. I've stepped into trying to step up at home more at the home. I've stepped in more as a professional speaker. I stepped into 75 hard. I completed 75 hard. I stepped into the woods. I completed all of those different challenges, and they taught me so much about myself, and they revealed so much about myself. But I'm here to tell you today that there's still a shadow that I'm still battling and facing every day. And that demon hits me every morning at 4:45. So something that's kind of plagued me since January 28th is every morning I have to relive almost the emotion of the loss that happened on January 27th. There's probably a 10 to 15 minute moment where really just anytime I'm really in bed that I'm just thinking like the bed is safe. If I don't get out, I don't have to face what I need to get done that day. If I don't get out of bed, all of these different things don't have to get accomplished, and I can just be a little bit lazy today because you lost your job, dude, and that's heavy. And there is so much weight in that moment when I first wake up because there is so much that still needs to be done to secure my life. And every day I have to wake up and relive that feeling, that emotion, and go through it every single day. And even through 75 hard, this was something I battled with a lot because I had to wake up and kind of get myself excited. I had to get myself between the moment I stayed in bed, most likely, or when I put my snooze on, and when I did get up, I had to try to re-cram in my workout well before 8 o'clock. And oftentimes my laziness in the morning to wake up on bed successfully messed up or delayed or put pressure in my family in that morning or some way. But man, that morning depression is still something that I battle. And I can tell you, I've talked about it. This isn't the first time that I've revealed that I've had this issue. I've told several close friends. I've tried several different things. I've tried changing my alarm tune to try to change it up. I've even tried the Marine Corps hymn. I've tried different cadence, even running cadence from the military to kind of motivate me. I've tried different things on my screen. All of these things really haven't worked. And I know the feeling because it's kind of one of those that the choice when I get out of bed is this is going to be the day. This is going to be the day I need to get my work done so that I can secure my life. But the sadness is so strong in those first few minutes that it's like the bed is warm, it's safe, and you're still tired. Why don't you just go back to bed? And let me tell you, that has been so, annoying because I feel like every day I'm going to wake up and like, yes, this is the day. And you know what's funny through all of this is I do have some really great days. I have days, there was one maybe like 2 weeks ago. I woke up. It was 4:45. I meditated. I read. It was 5:15. I ground a cup of coffee. I came into my office. I did some work. The kids are still sleeping. I got breakfast laid out on the counter for them so that when they did come down, they could take care of it themselves. I didn't need to be out there. I went on a run, and all that was done by like 7:15. It was a 3-mile run. I felt amazing. I felt alive. But then the next day, I was right back into the problem. And that feeling is still so strong that even a good win is enough to kind of get that momentum. I can have a good win, but hasn't been carrying me through where I need to get to. It's kind of like a good gust in my sail comes along, and then the next day the gust is gone, and I'm right back feeling that feeling. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is part of my advice has always been you need to bring out what's in your shadows into the light. And the moment you bring it into the light, it loses its power over you. And so part of me doing this podcast episode is my self-therapy, because this podcast episode represents me taking it into the light, into the shadows, bringing it into the light for you and myself, because now I've revealed it to everybody. Everybody who listens to this podcast will listen to this message. And now everybody knows that this guy that has a podcast to help military dads come home emotionally and mentally still struggles with the depression every single morning of how is he going to reshape his life to what he always wants, and how is he going to battle the loss of losing his job and his identity, and that I still have that pain deep inside. And that pain isn't fake, it's not wrong, it's not evil, it just is. And I've been telling myself that through all of this, that this is part of just a mourning process, that it probably just is something everybody goes through. And it has gotten better. I would say in the first 3 months, I definitely feel better about it now than I did before. Because even throughout the day in those first 3 months, I would often get caught up in all the things that I had to do to get to where the fear of everything that I've ever desired being ripped away from me was so strong throughout those first 3 months. I don't feel that way during the day. I feel alive. I feel like I can create the life that I want during the day. But let me tell you, those first 10 minutes in the morning, those feelings are so strong that it's a challenge every single day. And now on most days, I can generally, if I go back to bed, I'm up by 6:30 and I can recover most days. And it's summer, so let's be honest, it's not as crazy. My wife's home from school, the kids are home from school. So it's also a little bit of a struggle because there's room to be lazy. The kids often aren't waking up till 7:30, 8 o'clock. And we're all leading up into this big compression test when schools reopen and having to get back on the horse. And I've been already thinking about how I want to show up, how I want to engineer my mornings, because it's not a lack of ideas. Because for me, my perfect morning is actually, I wake up at 4:45. I come down, I meditate, I read, I come in, I do the work on the podcast, and I'm ready to receive my kids, and I'm ready to be dad for the next few hours and have family time and get things done, go on a bike ride, maybe go to the gym, maybe go downstairs and do a workout. Whatever it may be, I've already got it in my head, but man, that first 10 minutes gets me almost every day. And again, I'm sharing this because I want you to know that even people that you look up to have their struggle, that there is no perfect life for anybody out there. And what everybody sees on Facebook and Instagram, that's not always what people really, really see and who they really are. And so I hope by me sharing this, I've taken some steps to maybe conquer this demon and really starve my fears in that first 10 minutes and wake up and dare to be bold and conquer what's holding me back. But on the same side, I hope that maybe me revealing this for you allows you to reveal something that maybe you haven't been admittedly open and honest with someone to you. And whatever you're holding in the shadows, the more times you bring it into the light, because for me, I bring it into the light and it kind of creeps back in the shadows. The more times you do it, the less power it has. And I'm hoping by creating an episode of it, its power is so diminished that I'm allowed to be able to move through those first 10 minutes and own the morning and conquer the day. And so with that, I hope this message helps. I'm going to sign off, and I'll talk to you guys again on Monday.